As the stock market is getting ready to squeeze the shorts, is the stock market ignoring the number one threat out here to stocks? Now, as we come over and look at the fear and greed index, right now we're sitting at 47. We are now back into neutral territory. You might say, yay, no longer in fear. Things are getting better. However, if we look at the most recent investor sentiment survey, notice this week we had a bullish reading of only 28.4. That is horrible. But what's even more concerning is look how many people jumped on the bear wagon. 47.3% were on the bearish side. And we got to ask ourselves, could this be nothing more than a contrarian indicator, which could be the fuel for the short squeeze that's about to occur? Now, as we look at how the indices fared across the board, the Dow was up 342 points. The NASDAQ was up 295 points. S&P 500 up 63 points. Russell 2000 up 2.52. Now, we look at advancing issues versus declining. Overwhelmingly, it was bullish. 76.7% of issues were advancing on the day. Then as we come over and look at the sectors across the board, every single sector was in the green. The laggard out there was industrials, only being up 0.06. But the fact of the matter is, it was still green on the day. Now, when we go ahead and we talk about the number one threat that stocks are ignoring, it is the fact that how tail risk, uncertainty over inflation, tariffs, political chaos, and other unknowns could trigger a chaotic market meltdown. And again, once the market starts to melt down, it's fast, it's quick. People are like, oh my gosh, should I buy the dip? Should I run from the doors? What should I do? But what's even more scarier than that would be this chart right here. This is going to be the scary inflation chart that once again is making the rounds. And I want you guys to notice, right? This is overlaying prices from 1966 all the way into the current time period. This area right here represents where we are right now in inflation. And if you look back, we are following a very similar path to what we saw back in the 1970s. And I got to be honest with you, if indeed inflation is going to rear up like it did back in the 70s, this is not going to end well. Now, if you guys think this chart is going to come true and we're going to see inflation marching back up, do you think it's because of Trump's tariffs that he's going to enact or something else? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Then we come over and look at Trump unveils slew of reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trading partners. And now we can see that the EU is starting to back down a little bit. They're going to reduce their tariffs on the U.S. to 2.5%. So now we're starting to close the gap. We're starting to have a more level playing field, and only time will tell if this is going to be good or not. Now, today we saw the S&P breaking above this swing point over here, which is something we've been talking about, which then opens the door towards this ABC target up here about 616.16. MACD indicator, however, is kind of flatline where it's currently at. And on the 30-minute chart, look how strong that MACD indicator is at this moment. We have a good separation of the lines at a 45-degree angle up. However, something that's a little bit concerning for me would be if I grab the Fibonacci extension tool, measure A to B equals C to D. Today, we overshot that level, almost making it all the way up here to the 127 extension. Then as we come over and we look at the futures markets real quick, on the 4-hour chart, we've had this consolidation, we broke out. Now we've been able to say we've had a complete volume profile rotation up from the weekly perspective. And what I mean by this is on Sunday, we opened up and quickly went below 6,029.5. And now we've been able to rotate all the way up to last week's value area high and even some. Now I thought today maybe we'd spend a little bit more time in this minus development area, but then we went ahead and made it all the way up here towards this next high volume area on the chart. Now, if we go to we measure this out real quick, let's not forget we have a larger A to B equals C to D pattern in play for the S&P 500. This leg right here is the impulse leg. The B to C leg is a corrective leg, and we project all the way up here for D, up here about 6,200 for the ES futures markets. Now, as we come over, we start looking over here on the 30-minute chart with the daily profiles. An area I'm going to be watching tonight is going to be right over here, right towards this minus development area, maybe even right here. These, to me, look like they're going to be high probability targets. First one about 61.23. The next area down here about 61.14. Notice, why do I say this, right? There could be a little bit more upside on this move, but if we look at this real quick, we can make the case that we had this A to B equals C to D pattern, and you can see that we almost hit that level, not quite making it up there. Then when we look at the volume profiles, notice what we're doing. We are closing way above value area high. Anytime we close outside of value, I expect the market to come back down, retest value either the next day or the following day. So either Friday or Monday is a very high probability we'll see the S&P 500 retesting 61.13 in a quarter. Then we break that, maybe coming down towards that point of control at 6103.75. Right now, I want to make you guys aware Apex having a massive 80% sale off all their valuation accounts, passing as little as 1 day. If you want to take advantage of this offer, use the link in the description box down below. Use promo code Mike. I also want to remind you guys, one of my favorite current prop firms, Take Profit Trader, having a 50% sale off all their valuation accounts. Use the link in the description box down below and use code Epitome at checkout. Now we come over, look at the economic calendar. Today, we had the PPI data coming out. Once again, we had another hot reading. However, the unemployment claims did come in better than expected. Then tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., we have retail sales coming out. So tomorrow is very light in terms of economic news. Now, as we come over, look at the QQQs real quick. What do we got going on? Qs on the daily chart also being able to break out of this swing point right here. And we've been talking about this on the live stream, this little A to B equals C to D pattern, which gives us a price projection at about 543.93. Is this where the Qs are headed? To me, it most certainly looks that way at this moment. Then on the four-hour chart, MACD indicator has been crossed to the upside, but more of a flat-lined approach. Then on the 30-minute chart, notice that MACD indicator very, very strong. Now today we did leave a gap behind, and if we gap up tomorrow, you guys know the routine. I'll be looking for that gap to come back and get filled. Also, we did not take out the point of control from yesterday, and now today we're going to be leaving another point of control behind. So that's something we most certainly want to pay close attention to. Now, as we jump over and look at the futures markets for the NASDAQ real quick, notice we were able to clear that untested point of control at 22,007.25, and we were able to break above this resistance level. I've been talking about this over the last few videos and on live stream. The more times we hit against the level, the more likely that level is eventually going to break. And that's what we saw starting to take place out here today. Now, if you notice, we are miles above the developing weekly value area high. We are way above last week's value area high. Then we start looking at the daily profiles real quick. Notice today we did not hit the P point. And we'll be talking a little bit about that tomorrow during the live stream as well. And right now it appears that we may close above value area high, which will come in about 22,032.50. So tonight or tomorrow, this is going to be a high probability target I'll most likely look to aim for. And let's not forget about all these minus development areas within the profile. The first minus development area I do want to keep my eye on is going to be 22,057. Then down here towards about 22,011, see if we can come back in that area. Now, one thing to note, we still have an ABC pattern in play. A to B leg, the B to C leg. And if we look, that pattern actually completes at about 22,160. Now I do want to go back over to the 4-hour chart real quick. Notice we are not quite yet at all-time highs. NASDAQ still has a little bit further to go, and we still have another untested point of control up here at about 22,301. Then as we start looking just below us, notice we do have this minus development area over here on the profile. So let's see tonight, do we make it up towards that area, kind of consolidate, and then potentially start to come back just a little bit? Now, if you want to see what happens after you've passed a Take Profit Trader account, make sure to watch this video right here.